What's up, guys? Carter here on this beautiful Friday in San Francisco. The conference rooms are getting nicer and nicer because I'm getting here earlier in the day, which tends to make it more room. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks for the responses that you guys have been putting on Facebook, on the blog, on YouTube, and the emails that I've been getting. I hope this is helping you out, and please, if there's anything specifically that you want me to talk about, I will. Otherwise, I'm just going to really go back and forth between the two buckets that were most requested. One, marketing techniques that don't require a lot of money, in other words, high impact marketing. And two, business, business systems, like how to build a business beyond just the apps, right? How to create something that, skills that are applicable beyond just the app store, things to make your business run, all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna bounce between the two of those. Yesterday I talked a lot about systems and habits. There was a lot of information in there. It's supposed to be a short one, but it got pretty long. This one, I want to talk more about a marketing strategy tactic that is working right now. Now, like I said the other day, there's a big difference between tactics and strategies. Tactics, this is not necessarily a long-term thing, right? This won't be around for a year or 2 years, 3 years, whatever, and it won't work every time. But there are people that do this that are very successful, which is why it's often worth trying. And I think it's also just cool to share these kind of things just to get the mind going, just to start thinking about new and potential ideas for marketing. This is all about Instagram and leveraging Instagram and massive volume of Instagram for your app. We did this, anybody who was at the Amsterdam event, we did this exercise briefly when we were talking about influencers. And I walked through this with the bodybuilding as an example. And so this is gonna be a refresher. And if you weren't at Amsterdam and you didn't get to see this, I will walk through this as plainly as I can. I'll try to put a few examples in the text with this video so that you can follow along as well. The basic premise is that you go to a big Instagram account, let's say they have 300,000 followers, and you pay for a promoted post. Many of these accounts now will allow you to pay 50, 100, 10 bucks, whatever, and they will put up your photo or your video for a certain amount of time. It can be for a couple hours, it can be for a full day, it can be for a week. And there's different levels. So you would go to them and say, I want to promote my video or my post. You would provide the content, the actual image. You would provide the copy, which is what would go as the post caption. And then potentially you would provide a link for the URL. So they'd say, go to our link is in the bio, right? That's a classic call. You would provide those three things, you would pay them, and then they would put it in front of their audience. This works really, really well when you have a niche app. So going back to what we're talking about in the App Business Strength program, probably the biggest focus that I see, the biggest opportunity and the biggest breakthroughs I see people having are in the market research side. This is all about matching audiences to Instagram accounts. So if you have an app that caters to a very specific type of person, this is going to be really effective. If you have a generic product that appeals to everybody, it can work, but you have to get to massive accounts and you have to just appeal to the general population. You become it's more of a general publishing model, which has bigger scale, obviously, but it's harder to convert on that. So here's what you do. Assuming you know who your customer is and you know the niche you're in, right? I'm gonna use Rich Wagstaff. He's one of our Bluecloud members. He's been very active in the App Business Strength program. He's coming to the event. He's come to all our events so far, and he's got an amazing app about 3-minute, I think it's called 3-minute mindfulness, and it's all about taking 3 minutes, kind of like Headspace, to meditate, to breathe. That seems to be the thing that people like the most, the breathing. And he's really drilling into who the customer is. So that world of meditation, of yoga, of peaceful being is an amazing niche to be in. So using that as an example, Rich could go and look up some of the biggest, not necessarily influencers on Instagram, but some of the biggest accounts that just have 400,000 or 500,000 people following it, or even 1 million, and have maybe their daily yoga quotes, or maybe it's just curating content from all these different yoga and mindful thought leaders, but they have a huge following, and it's just got massive reach, right? And these people are just producing massive content. Rich would go to them and say, in their bio, there would be a, hey, contact us via this email for business inquiries or whatever it may be, or here's our Facebook page. And he'd say, I want to promote my post. Can you send me some pricing? They write back and they say, sure, it's going to be $50 for, let's say, to have your post on there for an entire day and to get your link in the bio. And if they have a couple 100,000 people, that's incredible, especially if you can get a video up there, because video gets even more views and all that. He turns around, he sends them the creative, you set up the date, PayPal's the money or whatever it may be, maybe they send you an invoice, and then your app goes live. You give them a URL, like a bit.ly.com URL, so that you can track it all, and you let it rip. And if the market is targeted well, if you're in front of the right people, you can see very, very disproportionate results. You can see an enormous ROI from a very, very small amount of money. If it's not very targeted, if you're trying to promote a build box game and you're just going to general accounts, it might be harder to make that ROI work. You might get a lot more eyeballs, but very small conversion. So this works really well for someone like Rich on a very specific website or a very specific target audience. Photographers, people who love drones, right? That's a good industry. That's a niche that I am personally invested in and very interested in. That's a good audience. People that are really into that kind of aerial photography, people that may be into boats or motorcycles or whatever, right? Like, you can go down the list, and if your app caters to that same type of person, you can crush it big time doing this. So there's a few things to keep in mind when you do this. This works for both free and for paid apps, so that can work really well. You can also test this. Instead of going straight to the App Store, you can test this by going to an email opt-in page. You create an opt-in page and you say, I'm gonna give you 5. So Rich might say, I'm gonna give you a free PDF that's all about the best breathing exercises you can do today. And instead of getting downloads, he now has an email list. And let's say he collects 1,000 emails of people. He not only has those email addresses that he can market to, that he can educate, that he can remarket his app, he can create a custom audience on Facebook, he can create all these different ways to slice that. And so now you have multiple assets. So that really feeds into the whole inbound marketing side of it, and you can grow your entire marketing base through that. So you can do that. You don't have to market just your straight app. You can hire a virtual assistant to go out and identify these influencers or these just big accounts, and instead of the typical pitch of, hey, I want to partner with you, or hey, I can build you an app, you're pitching them, hey, can you send me your price sheet? And then the virtual assistant brings it back in, organizes it in a spreadsheet, and you have a whole hit list of really big accounts with their contact information, with their pricing next to it, and all the metrics you need to make a decision. And then you could potentially send it back, send all the invoices, and launch it all on the same day. Who knows what could happen. That could be easily outsourced. That gets into the systems that we talked about yesterday, where you do it once, and then you catalog how you did it, and then you train somebody to repeat it for you. And let's see if there's anything else that would be helpful. Yeah, and I would mess around with video, with pictures. I would research what's worked before. Like, I would go through their account and I would see what's gotten the highest click-through rates. I would definitely put it a call to action, tell people what to do. Like, go to the bio right now, click the link to get your free app, to get your free PDF, to get your free video series, whatever it may be, and give it a shot. This isn't free, right? You're probably gonna end up spending a couple $100 if you do like 5 or 6 promotions, but I have seen people do this and I've seen them have huge results. So even if 3 of them don't get you results, if the 3 do get results, it can pay for the whole thing, the whole lot, right? It's kind of a venture capital model where you only need 1 or 2 of them to really go big, to really nail it, and then you're gold. It pays for everything. So if you're looking for some way to get big leverage, if you have a specific niche market app, best thing you can do today, this weekend, is go on Instagram, search for accounts, hashtags that speak to your customer, the person that you're looking for. Start making a list of the 5 or 10 or top 20 accounts within that niche. Click through, see if you can get the contact information from them. Start making a spreadsheet and send them an email and say, hey, I'm interested in promoting an app or sending people to my email newsletter or whatever it may be, and see if you can get a response. And I would encourage you to do one of them, because once you do it once, you realize how easy it is to repeat this. And if it works, it could be humongous. I mean, you could have an enormous ROI. I've been doing this to a certain extent with a couple of my apps. Back in the day, I did this a lot with different websites and different affiliate arbitrage stuff. But this can work really, really well. Now you have to have a product that makes sense, that can convert people, the whole deal. But this is something that you can get it's very transactional, right? It's very, unlike the Vine thing where it's like, hey, can you build some content for me? Or, that can be massively huge, but there's a little bit more of a, you got to kind of figure it out because it's never been done before. This has been done. This is more of but it costs money because it's been done before. There's already this established marketplace of here's the price, here's what you get, boom, boom, boom. And the hedge comes down to how well you target, how well you can convert people, how well you can match the avatar. So, if nothing else, weekend assignment, go find some Instagram accounts that are similar to the Instagram accounts that your customers are following already, and send them an email. See what happens. Spend $50 and you never know. Make sure you track it too. Make sure you use custom tracking. You can use the tracking that's in iTunes Connect. Just wrap it. Go to bit.ly.com so you can track that, the clicks and all that, so you can look at the effectiveness of your campaigns. Because if it works, go back to the same people a week later and say, let's do it again. And just keep riding that wave. But I hope that helps. I really hope some people do that. I think that this is one of the best ways to get really cheap traffic. I would say a majority of the people I know that are making the most money in the affiliate world right now do this. This is the way to get free leads that are pretty targeted for disproportionate amounts of money. So good luck. I hope this helps you guys out, and I'll catch you later. See ya.